Shalom. I want to begin this lesson by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachah, Quadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the 144,000, the rest of the elect. I'm the brother Yawanathan, back with another quick lesson. Lord willing, it's edifying. And this year has been taking some very interesting turns, and I'm not going to say too much. I just want to read this article real quick. But obviously, news like this is exciting. And this is from the peoplesvoice.tv. It says, WEF plotting catastrophic grid outage that will permanently reset America before election. So, that's the key word, before election. But we really don't know. They always giving times and dates of certain things, and then, we just gotta wait and see. But if it is, hey man, this falls right in line with everything that we've been saying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. There is going to be a national power outage, possibly a global power outage, all right, coming real soon, which is going to basically disrupt the food supply, the water supply, and really just the way of life that everybody is so used to and comfortable living, which is basically a life of convenience, accessibility, and etc. But see, if something like this was to happen, which not if, but when something like this does happen, it's going to disrupt people's behavior, because people, Esau done a lot of experiments dealing with psychology and, habits. And they say humans are habitual creatures. So the fact that everybody's so used to living the lifestyle that they live, especially here in America, mainly I'm talking about here in America, once those conveniences are taken away, these people are going to lose it. They're going to lose their mind. And just like the scriptures say, they're going to be attacking each other, killing each other, invading each other's homes for food, for water and supplies, resources. They're going to betray each other like enemies, even though they was once friends. All these things are prophesied in the Bible. And an event like this, a catastrophic grid outage, to bring in that great reset, of course, that's a perfect scenario to bring these scriptures to life, man. So, I do believe that there is going to be some type of grid failure, whether it's an EMP or whether it's a cyber attack, or whether, like we just saw, because they saying that was actually the beta test for the the engineering, the CrowdStrike outage, that just happened last week. All right, they're saying that was really the final test to make sure that it works. So when they want to actually carry this thing out, they know that it won't fail. They, who am I talking about? Who's they? The global elite. All right, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, according to the Bible, who is also the devil and Satan. All right, he has a master plan. Let me get a scripture real quick. All right, before the chip, I got the precept for the microchip right there, the mark of the beast. But let's go to 2 Corinthians 2:11 first. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And I like reading it in the NLT as well. So that Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with his evil schemes. So the us is talking about the hopeful elect, the men of the Lord, the prophets, the ones that has the secrets of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, according to Amos 3:7. Which, what are the secrets? The prophecies. What's the will of the Lord? He said he would do nothing, but he revealed his secrets to his servants, the prophets. So before the Lord does anything, he's going to let the prophets know. You see? So that's how we're able to speak the way that we speak and speak these things. Is not of our own. It's of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai speaking through us, giving us the mysteries, the understanding of the Bible, of the prophecies, man, which is the testimony of Yahweh Shai. That's the spirit of prophecy. And we have the testimony of Yahweh Shai, so we can't be outsmarting. All right, they can't get no advantage over the men of the Lord because we know their next move before they do it. All right, and yeah, you got articles like this coming out, which aids us in bringing these scriptures out. All right, but we've been prophesying these things, beginning with Elder Apostle Tahar on down, the Elder Apostles of Great Millstone on down. We've been prophesying that there will be some type of blackout, some type of blackout scenario, some type of next pandemic scenario. And see, the WEF and the WHO and all these different alphabet groups, these unelected officials, as people call them, because these people are not in any way, shape, or form government, or authority over anybody, but yet they somehow been given power and authority by who? By the elites. All right. And yeah, these nations, they are giving up their power to the WEF and to the WHO. And these people have agendas that they want to roll out. So that's why they're saying this catastrophic grid outage. Let me get that word catastrophic real quick. It says it's just a basic definition, but it says involving or causing sudden great damage or suffering. All right, so I like that. It says sudden, that's a key word, because the scriptures say don't be afraid of sudden fear and desolation when it comes for the wicked, roughly paraphrasing. I think that's Proverbs 3:25, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, this thing is going to come suddenly, like they just saying before the election. We'll see. But if that's true, you think these people is ready for something like this to happen so soon like that? We already in damn near, we about to be in August. This month of July is basically over. Today's, I think, the 26th. So you think July, you got August, September, November, that's 3 months. All right, you got 3 more months until the elections. So who's to say this thing could happen next month? You already see what the hell's going on with American politics, man. This thing is a shit show, all right? It's a circus act, and it's a lot of, how can you call it, a lot of shadow government activity going on behind the scenes, man. Pre-planned stuff already. You got the Simpsons that been so-called predicting stuff. They're not predicting nothing. They just insiders. All right. The people who write the Simpsons show, they know things that the average citizen in America don't know. All right. They're not predicting nothing. They just been filled in. They've been, juiced in, so to speak. So yeah, they know certain things about the future, just as the prophets on the right-hand side. See, they got their prophets and priests, which are basically witches and warlocks on the left-hand side, dealing with Satan, self-fulfilled prophecy and things like that. And then you have the right-hand side, which is Yahweh Shai, the 144,000, man, the prophets of Israel, all right, who also know the future, but they know the true future, and they had the actual truth, as opposed to the prophets on the left-hand side. They have their own prophecies that are not the truth, all right? It's not the will of the Lord. Some of it is. For an example, an event like this is the will of the Lord. Yahweh and Yahweh Shai want this to happen, all right? This ain't just in their minds just because it's in their minds because they came up with it, all right? No, the Lord put these thoughts in these evil, wicked sons of bitches' minds, man, to do plans like this. The World Economic Forum in Davos is planning what they describe as a catastrophic grid outage, with the stated goal of creating a permanent reset in the U.S. before the November elections. So that's how they want to bring in that great reset, is going to be through basically shutting the power down. Whenever you reset any device, any electronic device, you got to reset, you got to power it off, you got to turn it off, turn it back on. That's what the definition of a reset is, man. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to turn all the lights off, all right, because the infrastructure for the chip is basically here, all right? The chip is here. The mark of the beast is here, but they got to implement it. They need a scenario in which they can basically authorize it, emergency authorization for the chip, just like they did with the jabs. These jabs that they just gave for the for the COVID thing, those jabs were untested. They did not go through the full clinical trials. All right, the reason why they were able to make it law, make it mandatory, was because the FDA gave it emergency authorization. So they can do that, all right? In the case of some type of catastrophic event, just like COVID-19, they can easily pass whatever the hell they really want to pass, man. They could implement martial law, medical martial law. They could implement FEMA, executive orders. They got all these things already planned. That's the key word. It's already planned. That's why we are familiar with Satan's evil schemes, man, with the so-called white man's evil plots and schemes. It's not something that's new. This man been running the same playbook for basically damn near a couple centuries, man, couple hundred years. Using the same tactics, man, biological warfare, the sword, psychological manipulation, if you will, dark psychology. This man been using these same tactics for a long time. This is not nothing new. All right. So for those that have been paying attention and, learning how to adapt, so to speak, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, this time is not going to come as much of a surprise, or, it's going to be horrific times. Yeah, it's going to be horrendous, but it's not going to be like, what the hell is happening? It's not going to give us that shock that the rest of the people of the world is going to experience. So that's a blessing, man. That's, 2 Corinthians 2:11. That's actually a blessing that the Lord gave us the truth, man, right before this devil is about to come down with great wrath. It says, according to insiders, the CrowdStrike outage was the final preparation for a devastating cyber attack on the U.S. power grid that would disconnect the public from the internet, wipe out savings, and plunge the nation into chaos for years. They saying for years, because that's according to their plan. But we know it ain't going to be no years of that, man. All right. The Lord said he's going to speed this thing up, because if he doesn't, no flesh shall be saved. Matthew 24:22. It says, for the elect's sake, the days shall be shortened. So for those of you that believe, that's of the hopeful elect, the Lord is hearing our cries, our prayers, sighing and crying. As the scriptures say, the Lord is hearing that. And just like Luke 18, the parable of the woman that was praying, which is basically the power of prayer, even when the wicked king, even though that man was wicked, when that woman kept praying and bothering him, eventually he answered the prayers, man. So that's just a testament that, the Lord is actually considering the prayers of the elect. And that's why you need to be sighing and crying, man, because that's going to make the Lord keep speeding this thing up, shortening the days for the elect's sake. So what, we all in danger here, man. Not one of us is just dwelling safely and carelessly, we all in danger. So don't we need Yahweh Shem Yahushai to finish this work, man, to make it a speedy riddance, as he said in the scriptures. That's all we saying. All right, ain't going to be no years, allowing the elite to roll out the next phase of their totalitarian master plan, which, what is that next phase? The microchip, all right, introducing or making mandatory, rather, the microchip, the mark of the beast, because it's already here. It's already been introduced. But right now, it's basically like a transhumanism biotechnology. It's not really something that the average person is dealing with or into. So how do they get the average person to get into this and to feel like this is safe and effective and etc.? All the buzzwords that they like to use, convenient, etc. It has to be some type of event, man, like this. All right, so that's what it means by them rolling out the next phase of their agendas. Excuse me. Salakia for that. Actually, I wanted to read Isaiah 30 real quick, because basically, like I just said, how do they get the people to do it is the people already trust in the government. All right, yeah, you may have some skepticism amongst the people. You got some wokies, whatever the fuck they call themselves, people that think they know. They think they know about the government. They do know to some extent. They know it's corrupt and all of this stuff. There's a shadow government. You know, they speak about things like that, but they still gonna take the chip for the most part, because you're gonna be in a devastating environment and situation in which the only way that you'll be able to resist that temptation, according to Revelation 3:10, is if you've been doing the work of the Lord, is if Yahweh Bashim Yahushua give you the spirit to endure that temptation, because otherwise you're going to find yourself in a terrible scenario that you can't deliver yourself out of. And without faith, without a man of the nation of Israel, which today are you so-called Black, Latino, and Native American men, without a man having faith in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua and those names and in this truth, he's not going to be able to see no way out of that. All right, and that's what it says here in Isaiah, the 30th chapter. I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord." These are talking about Israelite children, all right, the nation of Israel today, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. So what covering is our people taking upon themselves? What spirit and what counsel are they receiving if it's not from the Heavenly Father and His Son, which basically come from this word in the Holy Bible, which ultimately is going to get preached by who? The prophets. The word is going to come out the mouth of the prophets. And they don't take heed to the prophets. They don't trust in the men of the Lord. They don't trust in us. Our people don't trust that we have the secret codes, so to speak, to save you. We can't save you, but we have the truth that can save you. But they don't trust in that, though. They don't believe that. They don't believe a word that we're saying. They think this is a conspiracy theory. You got even other Israelites, man. Other Hebrew Israelite camps calling us conspiracy nuts. All right, so these people completely have covered themselves in another spirit, in another counsel, which is what? Of the so-called white man. Like it's going to say, that walk down into Egypt. America is now modern day Egypt, or spiritual Sodom and Egypt, Revelation 11:8. All right, so that's the spirit that our people cover themselves in. They actually trust in the American government. They actually think these Edomites, these fucking devils here in America that rule in the White House, in the Senate, etc., they think these people actually care about their best interest. That's why they're going out and voting. That's why right now you hear people that you never heard talking about politics. Now, I'm speaking for myself. I'm pretty sure you brothers have a similar experience, but I'm people that I know in the world that these people they've never been into politics or voting, and now all of a sudden, oh man, this is the most important time. They thinking Kamala Harris is actually a so-called black woman. They just completely delusional. All right, and that's because they're putting their trust in Egypt. They're not calling on the Lord Yahweh Yahushua to come and save us out of here, man, to come destroy the American government, Babylon the Great. They're not praying for that. They're not asking for that. They don't even want that to happen. They want America to keep going on. So yeah, they walk down into Egypt, into the American government for help, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. So these people actually trust America. They actually trust that this place, whatever happens next, all right, this global catastrophe that's getting ready to take place, they trust that the American government is going to make the right decisions to keep them and their family safe. So they're going to say, hey, yeah, you got to come with us. We got FEMA camps for you to, there's food and water and electricity at the camp. So come with us. They're going to go right ahead. Oh, here, we got this microchip for you. And, you need to take this for the safety of whatever they say. You see, these people are just going to go right along with it. And that's really the point, that I was doing this lesson, the spirit. I was thinking about that as I'm reading the article. I'm like, if these people have such an elaborate plan and it's so in your face, I mean, all you got to do is, research a little bit, pay attention to the news. And I'm not talking about mainstream. I'm talking about, mostly alternative news sources. These people are basically just admitting it. They're just telling you their plan outright. We want to microchip you, etc. This Carl Schwab guy from the World Economic Forum. I mean, at this point, it's really just right in your face. It's hidden in plain sight, as they say. So Now I'm wondering, well, why the hell, what's up with these people then? I know spiritually the Lord got them blinded, but even on a physical level, and they could always just, rebel too. And it's going to come to some degree. There is going to be some resistance to it. And that's why they're trying to get rid of the guns and, the Second Amendment thing. But, still, sometimes I just be in awe, how powerful the Lord could be how powerful he is that these people are just fast asleep. They just really don't care. And these things are being brought out on a daily basis. It's right in their face. I mean, they still talking about voting, man. They still talking about, what's the policies of Trump and Kamala Harris. How is their vote gonna affect, America and their lives and, make the world a better place. That's out the window. Don't you people see this already? It's nothing but doom and gloom coming for this place. Don't you see that? Unless you still living in part of the delusion. And that's why I said, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. So that's what's going to leave you people in great confusion, what the scriptures call derision. They that consent unto them shall be had in derision. That's in 2 Esdras 16. So you people are going to be completely fried. All right, I'm talking about mainly psychologically, because that's where you live in your delusion. It's in your mind. It's not actually in reality. Reality is objective. All right. But a person that, excuse me, a person that's living in a delusion have created some type of subjective reality for themselves, and that's what they choose to live in. But that's in their mind. That could never be the truth. All right, the truth is objective. It's only one thing. There's only one truth. You might not believe in that one truth. You may believe in a lie, and that's what's going to leave you confused. All right, that's where it says in the trust of the shadow of Egypt, your confusion. All right, so that's where you're going to be confused, because you won't have the answers, because you're going to have missing pieces of the puzzle. All right, the missing pieces of the puzzle is, who is Esau? Who are you? You're an Israelite. Who is Esau, the so-called white man? Wait, he's the devil. So you can never underestimate what a devil could do. All right, and how far their devilish ways can go. But no, not these people. They got Stockholm syndrome. They think the so-called white man have turned over a new leaf. They forgot about slavery, which was not that long ago. How they brutalize our people. How they use all these wicked tactics against our people, these war tactics. They think the so-called white man just a new creature. They still believe in the religion of their slave masters, Christianity. So these people are completely gone. And hey, man, that just is what it is. I don't feel bad. I don't feel nothing. To be honest, I don't feel shit. I just, like I said, I'll be at all. And it makes me worship and praise and fear, most importantly. It makes me fear Yahweh Bashim Yahushua that much more, because it just goes to show you, man, the Lord could really just have everybody asleep. But that's not according to his will. He said that there'll be a remnant. All right, so there is going to be a remnant of Israel who's going to be able to survive these evil plans that these people got, which is basically, it's supposed to be unsurvivable, whatever the word is, unsurvivable. All right, there's supposed to be zero chance of survival through this type of an event. That's why they want to come in as the savior. Oh, look, we got the chip, etc., man. You should already know. As the global elite order, world governments are prepared. As a global elite order, world governments are prepared to rig the November election and ration people's food and water supplies as part of their Great Reset agenda. It has never been more important to spread the word about their evil plans, and we've been doing that. All right, we really the main ones doing that. All right, yeah, I'm not gonna say the only ones, but you may listen to Alex Jones, but Alex Jones can't give you the 100% truth. All right, he can't give you what you need to be saved. He could just warn you and tell you about what's coming. He can't tell you how to survive it, because these dudes selling bug out packs, survival kits, fucking powder food. You know what I'm saying? You just mix it in water. You got all your nutrients for the day. You're not going to be able to survive just off of that, off of these mortal things, man. You're going to need divine intervention. You need to ultimately be one of the Lord's elect. All right, the Lord has to basically have mercy on you in order for you to survive this time. You can't, it's not going to be based on your survival skills, the strongest or the fittest survive. No, man. The Lord is going to have mercy on whom he will have mercy on. And the ones that he's going to have mercy on is his elect. And ultimately his elect is going to have this truth. They're going to be believers. They're going to have the faith. All right, and that's what makes them the elect. That's what makes them separated from the rest of the world. It's really this truth, this word, obtaining this truth, according to Romans 11:7. It says, before we dive in, not reading that, the global elite have been warning us that we will own nothing and be happy in a world controlled by an authoritarian, one world government that enslaves humanity in a totalitarian system featuring a radically reduced population, mass surveillance, mandatory chipping, because forget about, that's one thing. The jab, that was one step of the phase. That's not the ultimate goal. Everybody already damn near got it. Most of us got it already. We're not talking about the C-19 jab. I'm talking about other jabs that was introduced when we was children and, within the last 50 years. So it ain't that, because that's not what's going to block your salvation. What's going to block your salvation and really what they ultimately want to do, the ultimate inoculation, is the microchip. It's not just vaccines. And in desperate servitude, see, that's it. That's the charagma. That's the mark branded upon horses. That's a word, or rather, a definition of the word charagma in the Greek, which is mark in Revelation 13. So meaning what? That mark represents that you are a slave to the elites. All right, that's what the desperate servitude is, man. You're gonna serve them because really you don't have a choice, because you don't have faith. All right, you don't really believe in Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. So therefore, what did the Lord say? You can't serve two masters. So you got to choose one. So you choosing to take that chip or consenting to taking that chip, that's you choosing Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, as your master. All right, as your God. That's what you're doing. All right, you may not feel, I got to feed my family. Well, the Lord can feed your family. You don't believe in the Lord? You don't believe in Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai? See, that's what's going to separate the men from the boys, so to speak. That's what's going to separate the strong from the weak and the elect from the non-elect. That's going to be that our temptation, man. And these people are the vessels that the Lord have chose to do this task. So really it's his test when you really understand it. That's why, how can you fear men? It's really Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai who's in control, man. How can you fear these people? How can you fear men when the Lord already prophesied these things in the Bible and they're just carrying out the prophecy? You should fear the one who prophesied it. You should fear the one who actually designed this from the beginning. It's really the Most High's plan. All right? It says evil never sleeps. And we are seeing Schwab's modus operandi play out before our eyes. The WEF has infiltrated governments across the globe with every Western nation falling under their control. Davos has also infiltrated the corporate world, centralizing power and influence around their puppet businesses, including BlackRock, which owns a huge stake in CrowdStrike. And they show you the picture right there. It's a big club and you ain't in it. Well, we're in the other club, so to speak. We're in the circle of Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, which is to have this truth. Psalm 91. We under the shadow of the Almighty. See, while these people are under the shadow of Egypt. You see that? Isaiah the 30th chapter and Psalm 91. That's the contrast. You got those that are under who are in the secret place of the Most High, under the shadow of the Almighty, roughly paraphrasing. Then you have those who trust in the shadow of Egypt, which is America. CrowdStrike, a WEF company with very close ties to the DNC and three-letter agencies, is also operating on a massive level, integrated into the grid, government, financial, transportation, and hospital systems. Now, the globalist elite have ordered a series of devastating cyber attacks, and they are using WEF-affiliated companies, including CrowdStrike, to attack America from the inside. All right, and then they say, there's little video clips and stuff. I'm not going to play them, but I'll post this article link in the description. We are going to cut him off there because he spent the next 5 minutes lying about why his company, in conjunction with Bill Gates' Microsoft, brought the world to a literal standstill on Friday, affecting people's ability to work, travel, access their money, and undergo important health procedures. Where do we know CrowdStrike from? So that was the beta test, all right? I brought it out in my previous lesson. A beta test is a test that they use on computer programming, which is basically the final test. It's really the last test that they need to actually bring forth the finished product. All right, they are the company that lied and said Russia hacked the DNC and released Hillary's emails. The FBI outsourced the investigation to CrowdStrike in 2016, and CrowdStrike lied and said exactly what the DNC wanted them to. In short, CrowdStrike are deep state goons responsible for the Mueller special counsel and Russiagate hoax that the mainstream media perpetrated. That's a weird word, man. It's like a tongue twister for me. For years, in their fastest attempt to destroy and dully elected president. Nobody should be surprised the New World Order elite, in tandem with their favorite companies, CrowdStrike and Microsoft, are waging war on the West and targeting the internet, food, and water supplies. The elite always tell you what their plan is. The world just needs to pay attention and wake up. All right? I mean, the global elite laid the groundwork for their great deception with the COVID pandemic, conditioning the masses to respond to fear-based programming. And this really goes back to a man named Skinner. All right, they have an experiment called Skinner's box. And a lot of his experiments and research went towards dog training. Not only dog training, but animal training in general. Especially dealing with the 4 quadrants of operant conditioning. You brothers could go look it up if you want to. It's nerdy stuff. I'm into different stuff like that. I'm not going to go all into it, but it basically deals with human behavior, and basically environmental influence. When you influence somebody's environment, it could actually change their psychology. So this is what they're getting ready to do, and this has been deliberately and thoroughly planned out, man, and researched and studied. This ain't no whim. They're not just going to go out on a whim and hope that it works. It's going to work. First and foremost, because it's the Lord forwarding it. All right, the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, once again, prophesied these things, and this is their plan. So they're going to make sure this works. It's not going to fail. All right, you people are fucked, man. You people are really fucked without the truth. It says, seek fear-based programming. Schwab cyber attack is being prepared as the final nail in the coffin of our freedom. The elite simulated a cyber attack on Friday because they need a crisis to implement the new CBDC financial Ponzi scheme, which is that chip ultimately, because central bank digital currency, you need a digital device. Obviously, you're going to need some type of device, electronic device, in order to buy and sell. And that links up right with prophecy, man, with the mark of the beast, the RFID chip, and authoritarian agenda before plunging the world into chaos, or the abkeo. Be prepared. The same strategy of using fear as during COVID will be used again. Digital IDs and CBDCs are coming, and as Bill Gates has warned, both will be mandatory for people to participate in society. The first phase of the digital prison that they plan to lock us in has already been rolled out. 15-minute cities are appearing in the US and UK, and Australian banks are banning cash and refusing to allow customers to withdraw their own money. The elite are downright giddy about a cashless society. Watch as Wef Ghoul explains that the government will be able to more easily block things it deems less desirable, like, say, ammunition. But it's not just the financial system, it's the food and water supply too. WEF executive professor Mariana Mazzucato, if that's how you pronounce it, was caught spilling the beans about what the elites are planning for humanity in a clip from the Davos summit last year. In a disturbing speech, disappointment that the climate change and COVID-19 narratives have proven unhelpful in furthering the globalist agenda, while boasting that a water crisis will succeed where those approaches have failed. Like they say, when the carrot doesn't work, the stick will. So when you dangling that carrot in front of the bunny rabbit on the stick with the rope on it, and the rabbit keeps chasing it, and you want it to get somewhere, right? So you're leading it to get to where you want it to get to. But let's say at some point the carrot says, fuck this, it gets disenfranchised because it can't catch that carrot. And that's ultimately the prize that it wants, that it will basically do anything for. But once it becomes disenfranchised and basically you broke the psychology of the rabbit, now you're going to have to use that stick. All right, you're going to have to use that stick, which represents punishment and physical manipulation, all right, of the animal or whatever said, person, to get them to do what you want them to do. You see? So, yeah, man, this thing is about to get violent. It's not going to just be no psychological operation. You already got people waking up so-called. I don't like even saying that, because if you're not waking up to this truth, I don't really consider you woke or awake or none of that. Awakening. I don't agree with none of that. But just for the sake of the conversation, of the edification rather, you got these people that's waking up and they're getting ready to resist. The witchcraft basically don't work on them. So what they're gonna have to do? Violence, man. Cut the food off, cut the water off, use guns. All right, that's what's coming. Did you hear that? They admitted the elite are going to experiment on humanity again. So anyways, that's most of the article that I read there. And let me get Revelation 13 real quick. All right, Revelation chapter 13. And I only need it in the KJV. Verse 16. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So this is that totalitarian, authoritarian, dystopian nightmare, all right, in a scenario where it's not just talking about one man, the Antichrist. It's not talking about one man. It's talking about the elites. But it's really just talking about the so-called white man, if you want to say it like that. But not just one particular white man that got the power to implement this law. No, it's going to be a global system. All right, but yeah, it's being headed by the so-called white men and their elites. They're the ones that's causing this to happen. They're the ones that's bringing this agenda forth. All right, with the help of the world government. So this is going to be made a law, mandatory. All has to receive this mark, both small and great, all manner of class of people. These Israelite idiots, man. They can't break this down. They talking about this is nations, and it's talking about a small or great person. You got celebrities and you got regular average fucking people that nobody cares about. All right, you got adults and then you got children. You could put that in different forms, small and great people. There is a such thing as that. All right, rich and poor people. Yes, there is a such thing as a poor person. There is a such thing as a rich person. There is such a thing as a free person that's walking around with their so-called freedoms. And there's a such thing as a person that's in bondage, which is jail, prison. So I don't know what these guys be talking about, man. They trying to equate this and say, look, it don't even make sense that it's talking about people. It's talking about nations. No, it's talking about people. Global citizens of the world, so to speak. All right? Because all nations are going to, at some point, implement this as a law. As we just was reading through that article, the West basically controls world governments, man. These world governments are surrendering their power to the beast. And it lines up with prophecy. It lines up with Revelation, the 13th chapter. All right? And through that, they're going to implement whatever laws the elites tell them to implement, which is going to lead to what? The chip. That's what we're reading right here. The chip, man. They're going to chip them in their right hand or their foreheads. The brain chip, the hand chip, doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter where it's at. This is a particular vision that John is having where he's seeing people microchipped. He's seeing them getting microchipped. So maybe some of them did take it in their left butt cheek. But the majority of them took it in their right hand. We in America, right? Everything is on the right hand. When you go to Europe, everything mostly is on the left hand. Talking about the driving lanes and stuff like that, traffic. And you know, the convenience of society is more geared towards the left hand. I'm talking about in Europe. So it says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So that thing is going to basically block you from being able to buy and sell, because if you don't have the required, at first it may be the digital ID. At first, if you don't got these required digital documents or whatever, you won't be able to interact with nothing. You won't be able to prove your identity to the reader, which is a RFID, radio frequency identification. You won't be able to identify yourself with the radio frequencies that's being used in the stores. So therefore, how are you going to get something out of the store if you need to identify yourself? You need a chip. All right, you need that chip inside your body so they can say, well, look, that's this person because that's their chip. And we put that chip inside of them. And you can't take that chip out. Even if you can, it don't matter. You already got it. I'm saying even if you took it out, then you won't be able to buy and sell again. So what would be the point of that? All right, the people that take it, they're not going to take it out, man. They're going to have it in them until the missiles come and eat their ass alive. All right, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So there you go, man. What's the number? 666. All right, or 603, which in the Greek is Shai, Psi, and Stigma. The word stigma means to pierce. All right, the word charagma here for mark means to pierce. All right, an imprinted mark. Let me get it real quick. G5480, charagma, Greek word. It says a stamp and imprinted mark. All right, so you need to get this thing imprinted inside of you in order for you to buy and sell. And this word, funny enough, this Greek word charagma goes back to ancient Rome, dealing with the money. All right, dealing with putting inscriptions on coins. What the fuck is the point of putting an inscription on a coin so everybody can know that's your money, that's your property? What did the Lord say? The thing that was rendered unto Caesar, give it to Caesar. What was he talking about? He said whose face was prescribed on this money, or superscribed. I forgot what the word he used. It's in I forget the verse. I forget the chapter and verse, but it's in the Gospels. You know, everybody knows. You should know what I'm talking about. When they asked him, should he pay taxes to Caesar? He said, whose face is scribed on the money. When you go into that word, it's basically grapho, all right, which is the root word for charagma. So those words, grapho, charagma, charax, these words were all used in familiar context back then, when during the time that it was written, it was dealing with money. All right, it was dealing with basically etching in and carving in information on money. You may put the year the coin was made, the face of the emperor or Caesar that was ruling, and you may put like a little quote of something that he said, and that's what they used to do. And therefore what? You would have to pay your taxes. You would get wages in the form of that currency, and you would have to pay taxes in the form of that currency. And so when they translate everything digitally, once you got the CBDC, all right, central bank digital currency, you're going to need to get that prescription on yourself, all right, to identify who you are in order to use that money. It's not going to be physical no more. So it's not as simple as just grabbing a couple of dollars, going to the store, giving them the dollars in exchange for whatever you want. No. All right, that's going to be obsolete. You can't identify nobody like that. You don't know what the person bought, or I mean, you could probably find out through a long process of inventory, you know, checking the inventory and stuff like that. But even nowadays, they do inventory digitally. They don't do inventory by single-handedly counting every single object in the store. It's all done through barcode scanning and digital technology. So we here, man. They already got this stuff here. It's not like something that we waiting on, you know, for the next 20 years. They gotta, perfect the technology. They already have it. It's already here. You see? So, what's up, man? So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much the point, man. You know, they got this thing set up. It's locked and loaded. And really, it's really the Lord's time, because I keep questioning the same thing. What the fuck is taking them so long? Why they haven't done this thing yet? And the Spirit is telling me It's Acts, the first chapter, man. The Lord Yahweh Shai, he explained it to his disciples. He said that the seasons and the times is in the power of the Heavenly Father. It's not given for you to know these things. It was given, the Father only possesses it. Even Yahweh Shai don't know exactly when these things are going to happen. So it's a thing of patience, man. We're not supposed to know. We're supposed to be patient and suffer this thing and show ourselves faithful to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai until he does it. Because he is going to do it, all right? He's not going to fail. So with that,